Okay, namaste. This is a little sequence to help you prepare for pranayama and meditation. It can also be used as a pre-asana sequence. It is really effective to do in the morning to help to clear some stale, stagnant energy that builds up in the lungs overnight. And we'll also do a little bit of thoracic rotation, flexion extension, and lateral expansion to create space in and around the thoracic region of the spine, which helps us to access breath a little more easily and effectively, which helps us within our meditation and pranayama practices. If we're feeling really stuck, really constricted, this also has a constrictive effect on the mind, and it can be a little more challenging or much more challenging to drop into a state of spaciousness and clarity for meditation. So this is a great way to get your energy moving, to get you invigorated, awake, and clear after a long night's sleep. First part of this sequence is a technique called Mukha Bhastrika, and I would strongly advise you to not practice this if you are pregnant. You can join in during the later stages of the preparation. Instead, you could sit and start to breathe into the front, side, back, and top of the lungs, and exhale in that same fashion to start to create this expansive feeling in the body. Otherwise, we'll work through a few rounds of Mukha Bhastrika together. I'll demonstrate one round first. So you can stand with your feet slightly wider than your hips. And this technique is used to clear stale, stagnant energy from the lungs. And as I said, it's best practiced before pranayama or meditation or first thing in the morning after you've brushed your teeth and done all of your kind of morning things. I'll demonstrate one round, and then I'll talk you through 3 rounds, and then I'll also demonstrate for you a couple rounds of Mukha Bhastrika that you can use when you're a little more comfortable with this practice. It's a little more forceful, a little quicker, but still no aggression in the practice. So keep your mind really sattvic, really calm, really clear, even as you force the breath out through your mouth. So how this is done is we inhale and take the arms up, and then you'll exhale to fold forward. And as you exhale, you send the breath out through the mouth, pull the navel in, and really pump all of the air in your lungs out with this sound. So let's do 3 together. Inhale, arms up. Really fill up your lungs, and then exhale, fold, throw yourself forward and through the mouth. 2 more. So you're really efforting to empty the lungs. Last one, inhale, rise up, arms up. Force the breath out through the mouth. Exhale, fold. Keep the arms down, but stand up. Breathe in. And then ground yourself here. Exhale, take a few breaths. So folding forward a little slower can be helpful to maintain control, safety of the body initially. As you get more comfortable with this practice, it may be a little quicker, still no aggression. It will look and sound something like this. So as you exhale, you're really throwing your breath into the ground, throwing yourself forward, but maintaining full control and awareness in and around the body. Be mindful of this practice also if you've got something going on with the hips or the lower back. Okay, so 3 to 5 rounds of that first thing is a really good way to start to move some stale energy and to clear the lungs to prepare for pranayama and meditation. If you're quite tight in the hips, you might also add a hip opener to this sequence, but I won't go in that direction or we'll spend lots of time doing asana, and that's not really the purpose of this. So next, what we'll do is open the thoracic region of the spine with a little bit of extension and flexion, lateral flexion and extension, and then rotation. So if the shoulders are healthy, interlace the hands behind the base of the head. If the shoulders are not healthy, you can do all of this with the arms down, or you can even wrap the arms around yourself and hold for opposite shoulders. So hands behind the base of the skull, pull the elbows apart, pull the shoulder blades together on your back, but plug your front ribs back so that broadens your shoulder blades as you hug them in. Now I'm sitting on my heels. You can sit on a block, you can sit cross-legged, just find a comfortable seat. You can sit in a chair for all of this, no problem. Pull your elbows apart, pull your shoulders down, and keep a slight tilt of your chin down as you press the base of your skull back and up into your hands. Good. Now keep the low back and the low belly really firm, so there's no real movement of the lower spine. We're focusing more on the upper spine. There might be a slight amount of movement just because that's the natural rhythm of the spine, but try to keep all of this down here quite stable. Take the elbows wide, breathe in, lift and open your heart, tiny little back bend extension. Then exhale, chin to chest, elbows in, round your upper spine up and over. Inhale, open up, open the elbows, open the chest, keep the chin down. Little movement in the low spine, focus on the upper spine. Exhale, flex the upper spine, round the shoulders, chin in, elbows in. 2 more, big breath in. Keep the chin down to keep the mind quiet. Exhale, flex the spine, round in. Inhale to the chest, open up. Navel hugs to spine as you exhale, round in. Empty, empty, empty. Good, then inhale back to neutral. Take the elbows wide. Change the cross of your hands or your arms. Exhale, lean up and over to your right. Press your left hip to the left. Lift your left elbow up. Maybe even take your hips off your heels slightly to the right. Inhale back to center. That's a lot of instructions. Exhale, lean up and over to the left. Hips might slide right. Stretch the right hip to the right armpit. Keep the front ribs back slightly. Inhale back to center. And exhale to change. Breathe in to center. Exhale, change. Breathe in to center. Go ahead, take 1 more each side. Come back to center as you breathe in. Release your hands to your thighs, exhale. Roll the shoulders a couple times if there's any stagnation there. Okay, I'll come a little closer for this demonstration. Imagine that from your sacrum up to your thoracic region of the spine, so up to around here between the low ribs and the navel, is a pillar of strength and support that doesn't move. And then your thoracic region is the area of the spine that can move, rotating side to side, and then flexion and extension, similar to this idea of spinning a basketball on a really stable finger. If the finger is wobbling around like this, it's going to be hard for the basketball to stay balanced. Same thing here. If this is all moving and if we're compensating to move through the low spine because of restriction here, then we're not really getting that amount of rotation and flexion and extension that we're looking for to create space for the lungs. So stabilize your belly by drawing your pubic bone up. Now I'm sitting on tucked toes, but you can sit on flat feet, cross-legged, or on a block or a bolster. And you can always untuck the toes if it becomes too intense. Wrap your arms around yourself as if you're giving yourself a hug and try to hold for opposite shoulder blades. And I'll show you this from front on and side on. So just watch first. The rotation goes like this, and it's really slow, really controlled. You'll breathe in and open up. And as you exhale, you'll round in, same as what we were doing, and then slowly rotate elbows to the left. And then continue the rotation, elbows lift up. You lift up and over through your heart as if you're leaning up and over a bar behind you, a high jump bar. And then as you exhale, elbows will point to the right. You'll round and flex forward until you come back to center. So work with me here. Inhale takes you up and around, super slow, slower than slow. And exhale takes you forward and down and around. And try not to move your hips side to side. Try to keep your navel centered and your low spine really strong and stable. It requires a lot of attention. Do 3 in that direction. And then I'll show you from side on to change directions now here. So breathe in, take yourself out, up and over. Pay attention to keeping low spine steady, and exhale around, forward and down. So we tend to compensate by twisting the hips. Work to keep the hips square. It might limit your rotation, but you're really, really working on this axis of the spine. 3 in the opposite direction to where you started. Keep the chin down. Take your time to finish up. And then once that's done, just open up that space that you closed off, interlace your hands behind you if the shoulders are healthy. Otherwise, you can grab for opposite forearms behind you and then stretch the knuckles back, pull the front ribs back, pull the shoulders down, draw the chin down, and try to bend your elbows and pull them slightly apart as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Stretch the chest. Reach the knuckles down towards your heels, especially thumbs to heels. And because we tend to favor our comfortable cross of the hands, just interlace the hands behind you still, but with the opposite thumb on top if possible, and take a few breaths. Good, release the hands, flatten the feet if the toes are still tucked. Sit really upright with relaxed shoulders, chin slightly down. And here, just observe how much space you have to take breath in and to empty breath out. Hopefully now you're feeling a little more vibrant, alert, and prepared to practice pranayama meditation or asana if that's where you're going. Namaste.